Remember when music felt like more than just background noise? Like when a song could lift you, transport you, maybe even bring back a memory you hadn't visited in years? Somewhere between the steady routines, the adult responsibilities, and the comfort of familiarity, we sometimes lose that spark, that surprise, that sense of awe when you hear something new that doesn't sound like what's already on the radio 10 times a day. That's why I want to talk to you about something that, at first glance, might seem a bit loud, glittery, or maybe even silly. Eurovision. Yes, that Eurovision. The annual European Song Contest that some call campy or over the top, but others, especially those who really give it a chance, call magic. And I know, life between 40 and 60 can feel like a balancing act. You're managing work, possibly still parenting, maybe helping aging parents, and somewhere in there trying to protect a little piece for yourself. So why on earth would I suggest something like Eurovision as a doorway to something meaningful? Because believe it or not, it's not just a flashy contest. It's a vibrant gateway to world culture through sound, a yearly celebration of language, story, style, and emotion that you feel through your ears. For seniors, or honestly for anyone who's felt creatively dry or rhythmically stuck, it's a reminder that music is one of the fastest ways to feel curious again, and human again. What's special about Eurovision is that it doesn't ask you to be an expert. You don't need to know the latest artist or follow every trend. You just need to be present, to listen, to feel, and to watch how 30-plus countries pour heart and history into a 3-minute song. It's cultural expression at high speed, and it's weirdly powerful. Now I want to be honest. Some performances are, let's say, dramatic, but that's part of the joy. You're not watching polished plastic perfection, you're watching risk, national pride wrapped in melody. You hear the Balkans blend strings with techno, or Iceland's ethereal harmonies float above electronic pulse. You get glimpses of folklore, protest, heartbreak, all crammed into bite-sized pieces of sound. And it's so refreshingly different from most Western mainstream music. Here's something else that matters. For older adults, especially those who might feel disconnected from new music or modern trends, Eurovision is a gentle on-ramp. You don't have to change your taste. You just get to expand it. You can sit with your tea or coffee and travel across genres and borders from your sofa. It's not passive, it's discovery. And when you find a song you love, even if it's in a language you don't speak, it sticks. It opens something. Because music is a language your heart already knows, even when your ears don't recognize the words. So yes, I'll say it clearly. Eurovision is one of the most joyful, surprising ways for seniors to explore global music culture without needing a passport or playlist algorithm. You just have to show up, press play, and let yourself feel. Now, if this sounds like the kind of mental vacation you didn't know you needed, stay with me. Because there's even more this contest gives you, especially as you grow older. And the next reason might just make you love it even more. Now let's imagine something for a moment. You're sitting on the couch. The kettle's just finished boiling. You've got a warm cup in hand. And on the screen is a singer from a country you've never visited. Maybe Azerbaijan, maybe Finland, dressed in something you'd never wear, singing a melody you've never heard. And yet, something about it moves you. It makes you feel something. Nostalgia, surprise, even a little thrill. And you didn't need to leave your living room for that spark. That's the second reason I believe Eurovision is such a powerful experience for older adults. It reconnects us to emotional variety. When we're younger, life hands us big feelings all the time. First loves, huge failures, big wins, sudden losses. As we age, life sometimes flattens out emotionally. Not because it's less rich, but because we've learned to manage so much of it. But art, music, gives us a safe, easy doorway back to those big feelings, in bite-sized, beautiful doses. Eurovision does that effortlessly. One moment you're watching a theatrical ballad from Portugal that reminds you of your wedding. The next you're grinning at a disco anthem from Sweden that makes your feet twitch. The emotional range packed into that show is like a musical multivitamin for your soul. And here's the real magic. It's shared. You may be watching alone, but you're part of a worldwide audience, millions strong. People your age, people younger, people older, all watching in real time, all reacting, all hearing the same song. It creates a strange and beautiful sense of belonging that's rare in modern entertainment. In a time when social media can feel overwhelming or isolating, Eurovision cuts through with pure collective joy. Now I know what you might be thinking. That's fine for a Saturday night once a year, but what about the rest of the time? And that's what makes Eurovision even better. Because it's not just a show, it's a gateway. Once the contest is over, you've got 30+ new artists to explore, new genres to learn about. Some people create playlists of their favorite Eurovision songs and revisit them all year. Others use it to learn more about the language or history behind the countries they liked best. In a way, Eurovision plants seeds, cultural seeds, curiosity seeds. And if you let them grow, they can enrich your day-to-day with new rhythms, voices, and perspectives. You don't need to fly anywhere. You don't need to subscribe to anything. You just keep your ears open and let the songs lead you. Music is one of the few things that can genuinely refresh your worldview in under 3 minutes. And when you're over 60, and your days are sometimes quiet or familiar, a little unexpected melody can go a very long way. And that brings me to one more reason Eurovision is secretly brilliant for older adults. It gets your mind moving again. You've probably heard the saying, use it or lose it, especially when it comes to staying sharp in our later years. And while crossword puzzles and memory games are great, they're not the only tools in the box. Music does something incredible to the brain, especially new music. When you listen to a song in a language you don't know or a rhythm you're not used to, your brain lights up in places it doesn't normally use. It's decoding, guessing, stretching. It's literally exercising without you even trying. That's the third reason Eurovision is so powerful for older viewers. It's brain food disguised as fun. Each performance is like a tiny cultural puzzle. You're watching the choreography, noticing the instruments, picking up on clues about that country's traditions or humor. And even if you don't realize it, your brain is busy making connections. That beat feels like folk music, or I think I heard that word in Italian once. It's light entertainment on the surface, but underneath, your mind is getting a vibrant little workout. And unlike some mental exercises, this one doesn't feel like effort. There's no pressure to perform, no score to beat, just pure, joyful curiosity. That curiosity, that spark, is what keeps the mind young. And it doesn't stop when the credits roll. After Eurovision, many seniors find themselves down delightful rabbit holes, looking up the meaning of a particular song title, watching videos about a country they didn't know much about, maybe even trying to pronounce a few words in Norwegian or Greek. These tiny adventures, day after day, are what add freshness and excitement to your world without needing to leave your chair. And let's not overlook this. When you discover something new and tell someone about it, it feels good. Like when you recommend a song to a grandchild or send a performance link to a friend and say, you have to see this one. Suddenly, you're not just consuming content. You're sharing, you're connecting. And in a world that often rushes past older voices, having something new and interesting to say can be deeply empowering. There's real dignity in being a participant in culture, not just an observer. Eurovision offers that in the simplest, most joyful way. No special skills needed, no travel required. Just a seat, a screen, and an open heart. And all of that leads beautifully into the next layer. Something that might not seem obvious at first, but could actually be the most powerful reason of all. It makes you feel like you belong. Belonging might not be the first word that comes to mind when you think about Eurovision, but let's pause here for a moment. When you live alone, or when your calendar is a little emptier than it used to be, it's easy to feel like the world has moved on without you. The conversations seem faster, the jokes aren't always relatable, and sometimes it feels like there's a whole universe of pop culture that's no longer made for you. But on Eurovision night, something shifts. You're not watching some show designed only for teenagers. You're watching alongside millions, yes, millions, of people from every corner of the world all at once. It doesn't matter whether you live in a tiny apartment or a retirement community, whether you're 67 or 87. For those few hours, you're part of something big, colorful, unpredictable, and alive. There's something deeply healing about that. Because even though the contestants are young, and the lyrics sometimes wild, the emotions are universal. Love, longing, hope, identity, humor. Every song tells a story that taps into something human. And when you let yourself really hear it, you realize you're not on the sidelines. You're in it, feeling it, part of the same chorus. And maybe that's the greatest gift Eurovision gives us. Not just music, but meaning. A gentle reminder that joy isn't reserved for the young. That discovering new things doesn't have an age limit. That curiosity and culture and beauty belong to everyone, especially to those wise enough to truly appreciate it. So if you've never watched before, or if it's been years since you last tuned in, maybe this is your year. Light a candle. Make a snack. Wrap yourself in a blanket and let the world arrive at your living room. Let it sing to you, surprise you, move you. Let it remind you just how much there still is to experience, and how much richer life becomes when you keep reaching for it. And if you already watch, well, I hope this reminded you just how valuable that little tradition really is. Because it's not just a show, it's a bridge, a celebration, a spark. And sometimes all we need is one spark to brighten everything around us. Here's to being endlessly curious, wonderfully open, and joyfully connected, no matter the number on your birthday cake.